Peace and blessings, family. It is your brother once again, Asar M. Hotep, with the Martin Delaney Center for Egyptology. And today I am just going to make a brief commentary on the book that I am reviewing, that is Ancient Egyptians Refute Afrocentrism, subtitled Archaeological Evidence and Historical Facts, put that in quotes, Kyrillos Iskandar, right? And I've done two brief videos before, and I've done one full video, which you can find on my YouTube page, Asar Imhotep or the Mbongi. And I am going to just mention briefly, we're going to start in terms of the long form content, discussing the second section, of the text, or part two, Ancient Egyptians versus Afrocentrism. And so it is broken down into three parts, but unfortunately, he doesn't mark the three parts in the chapter. So there's kind of almost no use of him even mentioning the three parts. But it appears as if he's trying to show some kind of correlation between the color of the images that you can find on some of the temple walls with that of Africans and African Americans, and of course with people in Egypt that look more like the author. And if you haven't seen the author, here's let me try to get a good one. The pictures are actually kind of small in the text, but this is the author right here, right? So I won't get into too much now, but I just wanted to point out this commentary on page 19, right? So you see my markings, at the bottom there, and I'm just going to read that little section. So remember that the author is a tour guide and a proclaimed Egyptologist. I do not believe he is an Egyptologist because of the way that he writes, his lack of citation and sources, and just um, the non-academicness of the text. But we'll continue. So he states at the bottom of page 19, and this came out in 2025, as a tourist guide, Egyptologist, and student who has spent his life studying Egyptology in college and after, I have been to all of these tombs thousands of times, and I can confirm to all of you that I have never, he says never, found a single Egyptian figure in these tombs was ever, let me try to read that again, because again, the way that he writes, uh, I can confirm to all of you that I have never found a single Egyptian figure in these tombs was ever colored in black. So I guess he means to say that out of all the thousands of tombs that he's visited, not one of them was ever colored in black. So what you get from this is that although this individual has titled the text Ancient Egyptians Refute Afrocentrism, as I mentioned in the previous discourse, he doesn't cite any Afrocentric authors, and he doesn't cite any particular arguments. Of course, because he doesn't cite any text, he doesn't have any references, any text. He only has one page of references in this 70-page extended Facebook post that he claims that he made into a book. And the so essentially what he's trying to argue is that blackness for him only means individuals who are colored, like in the cover of this book here, that are quote unquote pitch black. So understand what I'm saying here. So while we in the United States and around the world understand blackness to be a range of dark skin pigmentation up to like a Khoisan light skin range. For him, he's strictly speaking about a pitch black color, like almost the color of hair. So he believes that these representations of the ancient Egyptians in a dark reddish brown, which would be my color, maybe a little lighter, but this brown is not black, right? And so again, he provides several examples. So this is an artifact with a quote unquote Nubian, and you can see that it is depicted pitch black, right? And of course, this is one of the statues of Tutankhamun after he passed, and on this I actually agree with him. So you'll see ancient Egyptian artifacts of certain deceased individuals who are depicted pitch black, but who also has representations of themselves in a dark brown, the standard reddish brown color, right? And so this, when you see a statue in this form, it has a symbolic meaning. And too many folks, whether they are Afrocentrists or black folks who just have an interest in Egypt but aren't Afrocentric scholars, they all make that mistake in trying to associate this with the pigment of the people themselves. Even, PhDs in Egyptology, like Abu Bakr Musalam, out of Senegal, right? But so what he's trying to argue that, there were no quote unquote blacks, because he doesn't see representations of people pitch black in Egypt. And in the long form content, I'm going to refute that first and foremost. But we're going to have to emphasize this range of blackness, and how this range of blackness does not include this individual here, right? Because he looks exactly like the Asiatic that is being depicted being stomped out by Tutankhamun on the very cover in which he's using from the chest, from one of Tutankhamun's chest, um, that I discussed in the last commentary on YouTube. So I don't know how good my camera focus is going to be, but hopefully you can see it, or y'all can at least look it up for yourselves. So keep that in mind. And so this is something that's being reinforced even by Dr. Zahi Hawass. So he's had to admit that the ancient Egyptians were dark skinned, but what Zahi Hawass says is that although they were dark skinned, they were not Negroes. So we're going to have to address this issue of the true Negro hypothesis, and how they're trying to make their argumentation based on the true Negro hypothesis, and not understanding the diversity of African phenotypes and the range of skin colors that exists in ancient Egypt, in the Sudan, and across Africa, even within 50 to 100-mile radiuses. So, with that in mind, I do appreciate your time. Leave a comment, make sure that you share. All right, peace.